I don't really know how to describe it. It's certainly still a rivalry, but there are different conferences now, and the game's played earlier in the year, and I still think the game matters, but there's a different feel to it. I can't really describe the difference.
Did what happened last year have an impact on mentality?
Not really. To me, it doesn't. There were so many games that we played after that, and so many chances to correct different things that we thought needed to be fixed after that game. In fact, we watched it today, and I could hardly remember it. To be honest, I remembered about 3 or 4 of the plays that worked against us, but man, I had forgotten about all the turnovers and the different things that had happened till then. So I think in the world of coaching, I mean, even after a win like on Saturday, the thoughts of a coach are already to the next week. So past lessons are kind of learned and moved on from. So
how much better is this team now than that team?
Hard to say. I think we have a good start, and I can't gauge how Utah is in relation to how they've been before. So I think similar, but man, we won't know until we play. But I like our team to this point.
Everyone touts their defensive line. What has impressed you about that?
I think they're talented and they're big and physical, and I think when you look statistically, both defenses are playing really well. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes out.
How important will it be to establish some running game against them this year?
I think it'll be important for both sides. Knowing that turnovers have so much to do with the outcome of these games, if you can run it, there's usually less risk than throwing it. And so I think both teams will probably work hard to establish some ground presence.
It's always more about points than yards, but your defense has gone 8 straight games without allowing 300 yards. Just from a consistency standpoint, are you proud of your guys from that level?
Sure. It's 8 games that's a lot. And to be able to have that kind of production, not only at the end of last year, but how we've started this year, I think they're very consistent. And so hopefully we'll be able to keep doing that exact same thing as this season progresses.
Good or bad time to crack the rankings this week?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I could give my opinion, and I don't think they ought to have rankings till after week 7. And then everyone would have an idea of who's good and who's not good, and et cetera. The rest of it until then, it's just kind of, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't hold much weight. I haven't mentioned it to our team. I don't intend to, and nor do I think it's a giant thing.
You and Kyle have both asked to kind of tone down the hostility of this rivalry. Did you get a sense that happened last year and is happening again this year?
So far, this year I think is a step in the right direction. And I thought last year was closer. Certainly, the nature of the game, as it wasn't as competitive, I think that probably had something to do with it as well. But it just seems like it's more about actually playing the game now than all the stuff that leads up to it, or before it, or after it, and that's better.
Top of your head, are there any guys who've been out who will play this week, or guys who may not play this week that have been playing?
No, it should be our same team.
Ross will be back this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looked pretty good today.
Riley's back better?
It's still sore. I would expect him to play Saturday, though. I mean, so his reps will be building as the week goes, but I'm very confident he'll play Saturday.
When you see what happened with Jordan, how much concern is there for a quarterback like Riley who likes to run?
A lot. And, it was a great chance for us to get 2 other quarterbacks some experience on Saturday. But I feel for Jordan Wynn. I mean, he's battled and come back and battled and come back and battled and come back. And it's hard. And so I feel for him. And I'm sure that's hard for him.
Not sure if you watched that only offense or only defense or sequentially, but yeah, Utah State impressions of that game.
Oh, it was a fun game to watch.
Did you watch it live?
No, I did not watch it live. After the fireside that we did the night before the game, I got back and there was 5-ish minutes left, and so I saw that part with our team at a snack. But both teams tried hard, and Utah State started strong and then kind of believed that they could win the longer that it went, and they were in position to win. It was fun to watch their excitement, and then, man, to have a field goal chance or 2 field goal chances right at the end, and then to have overtime, those are great in-state games, and man, we've had our share of those, so that's now just another one as Utah State's getting better.
Bronco, there's a lot of guys from Bingham High School in this game. Is there anything you comment about guys coming out of that program?
I just think they're trained well. Coach Peck does a really nice job of how he prepares and trains them. He works them really hard. Their fundamentals are sound. They win a lot, and he knows and has worked closely with our program and what we're after, and there are some similarities between the programs, so it's usually a fairly smooth transition between the two.
Bronco, you mentioned Jordan's injury. They've got some other key injuries, it looks like. We didn't talk about them specifically today, but they're coming off a loss. You're coming off of 2 big wins. In your tenure here, is this about the best shape you've ever been going into a rivalry game?
Health-wise, I would say so. Again, but each game and each opponent is so different. And so the contrast from last week and playing Weber State to now to playing the University of Utah and the style of offenses and the different personnel and different plays. But at least we have healthy players, and I like that part.
Bronco, you may not like having the rankings right now, but you have talked in the past about how important you want to get back on that national stage on a regular basis. So is it a step in the right direction to
Sure.
at least have this recognition at this point?
Sure it is, and I don't think we've really ever left it, other than my first year where we didn't get in. I mean, the rest of those years it seems like it's the rarity now would be if we're not in the rankings. You just never know what week of the year and how you finish, etc. So it's a nice token of respect, I guess, and the expectation is that we are going to be there, and when we get a couple wins, people just assume, yeah, that's where they belong, but it's way too early to put more credibility into that, but it's nice to be acknowledged.